This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Good evening and welcome to this NDTV special. The culture of the political memoir is unfortunately one that's still quite alien to India. No wonder then that My Country, My Life, LK Advani's racy and often candid account of his life and times is not just one of the most talked about books in recent times, but is all set to become one of the most important books for contemporary India. Especially because it's been written not by a retired politician who's out of all the action, but by a prime ministerial candidate. Thank you very much, LK Advani, for talking to us. It's not often that prime ministers in waiting are also wearing multiple hats as best-selling authors. How does it feel that your book has been so successful, so talked about, so, every day you open the newspapers and it's grabbing one or the other kind of headline?
Frankly, I didn't expect this kind of response to the book. Because when people say that you have chosen this timing deliberately, I always point out that the idea of this book came to me sometime towards the end of 2006, but I have written it mainly during the last 1 year. And that means that when I started thinking about it or writing it, there was no question of my being a prime ministerial candidate. That announcement came towards the end of the year, by which time most of the book had already been written.
So when people say the book is part manifesto, how do you feel?
I don't think it that way. It is in a way true that it's not merely about my life. It's mainly, of course, about my public life and political life.
But, Indians don't expect their politicians to be honest, and they certainly don't expect their prime ministerial candidates to be candid. You say when you were writing the book, you did not even know for the most part that you were going to be the NDA's prime ministerial candidate. But even so, was there an element of self-censorship when you were writing? Because there have been commentators who've said LK Advani has told no lies, but he's left out some things.
I would say that even if I were not in politics, if a person who for whatever reason, say for example a person who is well known in the field of industry or in the field of cinema, or in the field of sports, he were to write an autobiography, how much would he write about his own family candidly? Would there not be constraints, natural constraints? They are not something that he is trying to be secretive about. But when you talk about your own family, your wife, your children, your father, your mother, you're bound to be somewhat reticent than you would be about others who do not belong to the family.
And in this case, your family is not just your family, the sound is your family.
I have always used the word family in both the contexts, my personal family, my ideological family.
Now, given this natural reticence as you describe it, what was the most difficult chapter, as it were, or the most difficult subject to write about, keeping in mind the sensitivities of the Sangh and your colleagues?
I would candidly say to you that many of my colleagues in the party advised me, particularly after the announcement came in respect of my candidature for the next election, that I would lead the election. They did not know what I have written. For a long time, they did not know that I was writing anything of this kind. So the moment they came to know, they started pleading with me, please do not write about Pakistan.
And Jinnah.
And of course, Pakistan means and Jinnah. I listened to them. But what I had in mind, particularly about that chapter, I had already written. So
But
Though subsequently I have not heard anything from my own colleagues or anyone who has read those chapters, feeling that something again, a problem has been created, nothing of the kind.
on the contrary, that's the chapter that's titled I Have No Regrets. And it has a quote from Eleanor Roosevelt talking about having the courage to stand alone and be counted. How alone did you feel at that point?
I did feel alone. I did feel, and it was at that time that a few close friends in the party and certainly my personal family gave me great sustenance. And still greater sustenance I could find from my own thinking over the issue. Did I do anything wrong? Because very many people thought that I was making a conscious attempt to change my image. And it is therefore that I said what I said in Pakistan. This wasn't true. This wasn't true. And may I tell you that if I were to make a conscious image change, conscious effort to change my image, I wouldn't be successful. I'm not good at acting.
But are you saying that from having tried it and failed?
No, no, I have not tried it, I have not failed. In fact, the other day I went to see a film at the Mahadev Road Auditorium. It was a film about Sindh and Sindhi civilization. But the film was in English.
The Awakening.
The Awakening. And Jethmalani also was there with me to see the film. And he had a small role in the film there. One of them asked me, now we've seen Jethmalani have a role in this film. Is it likely that you also would appear in some film? I said, frankly, I can't act. I have been unsuccessful even in politics. I can't be successful in a film. Anyway.
You are known for speaking your mind. So to come back to what you were saying, you did feel alone, but there were people who stood by you. What of those who didn't? And many of your party colleagues at that point, people whom you trusted, friends in the media, other friends, kind of betrayed you or deserted you at that point. Do you feel bitter about that?
I wouldn't say betrayed, but I did feel that they misunderstood.
But did the episode...
I wouldn't call it betrayal.
Did it make you bitter in any way?
No.
Do you find it easy to trust them?
Sad.
Sad.
That's all. Not bitter. It happens. The episode following my visit to Pakistan caused me anguish. But my greater distress is that I think my party missed an opportunity. Because if they had not misunderstood what I said, the advantage that came to me personally, insofar as the people of Pakistan are concerned, their accepting that LK Advani is proud of his Hindutva, but LK Advani is not anti-Pakistan. He is not anti-Muslim. He is not anti-Islam. This was not a mean achievement. And if the misunderstanding at home had not taken place, this impression would have been not merely about a person by name LK Advani. It would have been about the BJP and the entire ideological parivar.